Okay, before I start would like to explain a few things. These stories come from me and my siblings. They will be in chronological order of when they happened. Another thing I want to talk about is the area this happened in. I was born in Clatsop County, Oregon. For those who aren't aware, that's where Lewis and Clark ended their great journey to the Pacific Ocean. Where I grew up is just a few minutes from Fort Clatsop. The house I grew up was a 2-story manufactured home. It was fairly new when my parents moved in. It came with 3 acres of land. So one night after my older sister lost her first tooth, when she was about 4 or 5, my dad told her about the tooth fairy. So that night, after putting the tooth under her pillow and laying down, some time later she saw a shadow move out in the hallway without any footsteps. She got scared and pulled her blanket over her head. She said she felt something crawl on her bed and over her. She screamed bloody murder and felt it disappear, which is when she pulled the blanket off her. Then she saw the same shadow travel down the hallway and to the pitch-black living room. Another experience she had was she heard someone call her name from her closet. She said it sounded like our mom, who was in town at the time. The same closet will be relevant later. There is more, just getting pics is all. This next one takes a few years later, after my older brother than me were born. When I was 4 or 5, I remember meeting a man with red eyes in our house, in the back of the living room. He wore a top hat and Victorian-styled clothes with a cane. I don't remember what he talked to me about. I don't know if I mentally blocked it out or what, but I talked to him several times when I was little. His name was John Lucas, and I only ever saw him at night, besides a few times which I'll get into. I don't know why he only showed up at night. I never felt fear or anything, or at least I don't remember. Around that same time, after meeting him, I truly believed Superman was real, and being the oddest I am, I jumped off a 6-foot landing face first onto concrete, which, as you might know, didn't go well. I remember waking up slightly in our house with an ice pack, my sister and mother both looking over me, and seeing him there, behind the both of them. I didn't see him smile like some evil demon, but he just stood there watching over me. Then I fell back to sleep. Another time I saw him in the day was at my old Catholic school. I was at for about a year. It was years later when I heard about the Hat Man. It sent a chill up my spine. Man on the left is what his clothes looked like. This last one just happened in April of 2019. I was in bed trying to go to sleep after play video for the whole night, when I hear my cat in my gaming chair having a nightmare. Nothing new. I have to wake him up or he gets all upset. That's when I see a fucking full-body apparition reaching out to my cat from my closet, the same closet my sister heard voices from. Fuck this shit. Gif. Grab my cat and sprint out of the room, stumbling into walls because I give no shits. Sit out in the hallway and prepare to react the ghost puncher story way. Nothing happens. Sit there and fall asleep. Pick is my cat in my chair like a month before. That's it, unless you want a freaky ass dream that could have been real. There was some old building that I think was an elementary or developmental school near a local high school. My elementary school, unrelated to the high school, held cross-country there. Now part of the standard run involves running the driveway/parking lot around the aforementioned building. Sometimes my friend, his dad, kind of coach. Parents had to be involved, and I would just run around the building to cut time off. One time we looked in and I saw a guy who looked exactly like friend's dad but with a baseball cap. At this I should mention this building was not in use at the time. This could have been a janitor, but when we continued around the building we reached these doors. I don't remember if they were solid metal doors or if they only had small windows, but either way, this doesn't make sense. As we passed that door, someone was wailing on the door, just bam 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 bam. If it was the guy inside waiting for us, just trying to scare some kids for fun, then how could he have seen us coming? And this happened repeatedly over years and to many people. If someone was in there, I don't know how they'd see us coming. Okay, I will. It's not very amazing or particularly sinister, but I'll shoot. This experience takes the cake and thoroughly creeps me out even after 4 years. My former elementary school backs up some dark trees. The trees separate the school from an expensive golf course, typical for Florida. A lake sat to the left of my school, specifically next to where recess takes place. Kids would frequently use the field for kid stuff and whatnot. My friend and I liked to stand near the fence that separated the lake from the school and talk. I feel like it's relevant to mention that dead ducks and dead squirrels would sometimes show up on the school side of the fence, their necks being broken were common. Also, in a specific corner something had dug under the fence a considerable amount, the dead stuff normally showed up there. I don't know why nobody thought to fix any of this, because I'm pretty sure if I tried I could fit in the hole and escape. Carrying on. My friend and I were observing the most recent deceased duck and discussing how it was pretty gross and also how it was weird that nobody was moving it. That's when something got my attention from the other side of the lake. The other side of the lake also had a fence, the same height as the fence on our side, which quite literally towered above even the adults who stood near it. Going back to what got my attention, I looked up and focused on it. Moving considerably quickly along the fence was an uncomfortable-looking animal. At first I thought it was a dog because it was on 4 legs, but the way it ran looked odd. Like its back legs were longer than its front legs, so it ran in an unsettling way. From where I was, the head was not very clear. I guess it looked like a dog's head, but I could see that its torso was skinny and had visible ribs. I could also tell that it had shoulders and a neck instead of how dogs' legs/head are attached to the body. It ran along the fence for a few seconds, enough time for my friend and I to share a glance of what the hell. Then, to my surprise, it scaled the over 6 feet tall fence like it was nothing. I'm not sure if it climbed, but it looked like it just jumped from ground level clear over the top of the fence. That's what freaked me out the most at the time. How it effortlessly jumped that fence. If I didn't know better I'd say it floated, but of course I'm well aware it did not. My friend and I joked that it was a chupacabra, and that was it. I tried not to think about it too much. I hid behind the forced idea that it was a weird dog, although I never got that impression from it. I don't know though, a lot of me wants it to be a dog. I'd take anything to explain logically that it had to be a dog. My town isn't known for strays, and there's nary a missing pet. When that thing stretched out to jump the fence it was over half the height of it. I'm sorry it's very long, but the details are important.